It's 3 in the morning. You're half asleep, barely aware of the room around you, when suddenly you realize something strange. Your dog isn't at the foot of the bed. They're not beside you. They're not even on their own bed. They're right between your legs, curled up like a warm, living blanket, completely settled there like it's the most natural place in the world. And if you've ever had a dog do this, you know something else too. Once they're there, they're not moving. You're now stuck in the exact same position for the rest of the night. Most people assume this is just about warmth, or maybe comfort. But behavioral science suggests something much deeper is happening. Because when a dog chooses to sleep between your legs, they're performing one of the most powerful trust behaviors animals can show toward another species. And the real reason might surprise you. Let's start with the most common explanation. Warmth. It sounds logical. Your body produces heat, your blankets trap it, and your dog simply wants the warmest place on the bed. But here's the problem with that theory. Your dog already has dozens of warm places available. The couch, their own bed, the sunny patch on the floor during the day, even that pile of laundry you left on the chair. Dogs are extremely good at finding warmth when they want it. So if heat was the only goal, they would simply sleep near you, not between your legs, because that position isn't just warm. It's something else entirely. It's protective. And to understand why, you have to think like a dog. For any animal in the wild, sleep is the most dangerous state they can enter. When you're asleep, you're unaware of predators. You can't run. You can't defend yourself. You can't even react. Every instinct in your dog's brain, instincts inherited from thousands of years of survival, tells them that when they sleep, they need to be in the safest possible location. So when your dog walks past the couch, past their own bed, past every quiet corner in the house, and curls up between your legs, they're making a decision. A very specific one. They're placing themselves in the most protected position next to the person they trust most. But there's an even deeper reason behind this behavior, and it comes from psychology. Researchers at Yevouche-Laurent University conducted a fascinating experiment. They adapted a psychological test originally designed to study the bond between human infants and their mothers. It's called the Strange Situation Test, developed by psychologist Mary Ainsworth. When scientists applied this test to dogs and their owners, the results were extraordinary. Dogs displayed the exact same attachment patterns as human toddlers. They sought proximity to their owners. They showed distress when separated. And they relaxed when reunited. In fact, about 61% of dogs were classified as securely attached to their owners, almost identical to the percentage found in human children. Which means when your dog chooses to sleep pressed tightly against your body, they're doing the same thing a child does when they climb into a parent's bed during a thunderstorm. They're seeking safety from the person they trust the most. But the story goes even deeper, because this bond isn't just psychological. It's chemical. In 2015, researchers at Azabu University conducted a groundbreaking study published in the journal Science. They measured levels of a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is sometimes called the love hormone. It's released when humans hug, bond, or hold their newborn children. And the researchers discovered something incredible. When dogs and their owners looked into each other's eyes, both species experienced a surge of oxytocin. The dog's levels increased. The human's levels increased. And that increase caused the dog to look even more, which released even more oxytocin in both of them. A feedback loop formed. A bonding system shared between two completely different species. Even more fascinating, when scientists repeated the same experiment with wolves raised by humans, the loop never activated. This response evolved specifically between dogs and humans. Now imagine what happens when your dog sleeps pressed tightly between your legs for 8 hours. That physical contact strengthens the bond even further. But there's another layer to this behavior that goes back thousands of years. Dogs are the oldest domesticated animals on Earth. Long before farming, before cities, before written language, early wolves began approaching human camps. The boldest ones stayed close to the fires. The friendliest ones tolerated human presence. And over thousands of years, those wolves slowly evolved into the animals we now call dogs. archaeologists discovered a remarkable burial site in Germany dated to about 14,000 years ago. Two humans had been buried together, and beside them, two dogs. The dogs had been placed carefully next to the humans, suggesting they weren't just tools or hunting partners. They were companions, family members. For thousands of years, dogs and humans likely slept near the same fires, inside the same shelters, and eventually beside each other. So when your dog crawls between your legs at night, they're repeating a behavior that may have existed for over 15,000 years. But the benefits might go both ways. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic studied how sleeping near dogs affects human sleep quality. They monitored participants for several nights using clinical sleep trackers. The data showed something surprising. Dogs did disrupt sleep slightly. They moved. They shifted positions. Sometimes they stretched at 3 in the morning and stole half the bed. But despite these interruptions, participants consistently reported feeling more comfortable and more secure when their dog was nearby. Even though the sleep wasn't perfectly uninterrupted, felt better. Why? Because humans evolved sleeping in groups. For most of human history, people didn't sleep alone in quiet bedrooms. They slept surrounded by others. Family, community, protection. Your dog's breathing, warmth, and presence might be triggering something ancient in your nervous system. A signal that says, you're not alone. You're safe. And modern research is starting to support this idea. In 2024, researchers at the University of Jyväskylä studied something called heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV measures how relaxed or stressed your nervous system is. What they discovered was remarkable. When dogs and their owners rested together, their HRV patterns became synchronized. When the human relaxed, the dog's nervous system relaxed. When the human became stressed, the dog reacted as well. Their bodies were literally regulating each other. Two different species, two separate nervous systems, working together through a shared bond. So when your dog curls up between your legs, they're not just finding a comfortable spot. They're participating in a biological connection that scientists are only beginning to fully understand. But there is one situation where this behavior changing might matter. Dogs are creatures of routine. Once they develop a sleeping habit, they tend to repeat it night after night. So if your dog has always slept between your legs and suddenly stops, it's worth paying attention. Sometimes the reason is simple. A new pet, a new person in the house, a change in environment. But sometimes the reason is physical. Veterinary researchers have found that changes in sleeping behavior can be one of the earliest signs of discomfort or pain in dogs. If jumping onto the bed becomes difficult, they may quietly choose the floor instead. And because dogs can't tell us with words when something is wrong, their behavior becomes their language. So when their habits change, it's always worth noticing. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, barely able to move, with a dog perfectly curled between your legs like they own the entire bed, remember what's actually happening. Your dog had countless places they could sleep. The couch, their bed, a quiet corner of the house. But they chose you, because thousands of years of evolution, a powerful attachment system, and a neurochemical bond unlike any other on Earth all point to one simple truth. To your dog, sleeping beside you is the safest place in the world. And according to science, it might be doing something good for you too. If this changed the way you see your dog, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm curious, where does your dog sleep at night? Let me know in the comments below.